Hey guys, welcome back to Not So Popular Opinion. Just like to get this out in front that the video will stop and go from time to time and be still frame and full video due to copyright issues. I'm still trying to, figure out how to do this without getting my video struck. But this topic, mandatory paternity test at birth, is a hot topic. Has been for years. Whether you are on the side that believes that yes, it should be mandatory, or no, it shouldn't because the woman shouldn't be shamed, believe all women, blah blah blah, I would hope that after seeing this video and many others that I intend on making about this topic, that you'll see that it should be mandatory and paternity fraud should be a serious crime. Let's check this out.
Hello, Your Honor. This is a case of Manser versus Sear.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Good day.
Mr. Manser, you claim you spent 5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for the defendant, Ms. Sear's son, Dylan.
That's right.
And it was never proven that you are his biological father.
Right.
Now, Ms. Sear, you say you have proof that Mr. Manser is Dylan's father. You argue you are here to prove again that he is the father of your son, to finally stop him running from his responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Manser, explain to the court the circumstances surrounding your arrest.
Well, Your Honor, I'm here to explain that 12 hours of my life cost me 5 years in the Department of Corrections. She was a friend of my aunt. She was best friends with my aunt. We all lived in the same little community. She lived across the street. I knew of her. I knew her. I've spoken to her. But as far as intimacy, we was together one time, and I hate to be crude, but it was a one-night stand.
I don't care what.
I don't think after all of this that has transpired, it really matters whether it was a one-night stand
Right.
or a
It does matter.
two-day tryst.
My biggest concern.
The point is you all had a sexual relationship
Right.
at some point, so there is a possibility that he's the father of
Right.
your son,
Correct.
Dylan.
Possibility.
Okay.
I didn't find out anything about the child until I was served with papers in 1995.
And so
And you
you
did
showed
that,
up
huh?
for court, and what
No,
happened?
I wasn't
No, he
able.
didn't
I
show
wasn't
up.
able to show up for court. I was completely on the other side of the state. I was indigent. I was living at my mom's. Didn't have a job at the time, so I didn't show up for court. And I was named the natural father by default.
And then what happens?
And then I was charged criminally for not paying the child support that was ordered in the default judgment.
So how did you get arrested?
That came 3 years later after I still didn't pay child support, still unable to pay. I still had doubt. I've never, to this day, thank God for your show, or I'd never know for sure whether or not I was the natural father. Never.
If you would have showed up for court, you would have known.
I couldn't show up for court.
Why?
There's a
So
lot of
you-
people.
I got there.
Well, you live in the same town.
Well, I got there
Yeah,
just fine.
I'm sure you did.
I wasn't busy running away from everybody.
Did you? That's right.
You didn't pay child support for about 8 years. Quit telling them it's 3 years. It was about 8 years.
The court order was 1995. I got arrested in 1998, so that's 3 years in my calculation. 12 years. And
So-
then I went to prison for 5 years. When I got out of prison in 2003, I paid child support from that day until just February of last year when I lost
Only
my job.
because they garnished your wages.
Absolutely, that's what they do. And I actually asked my public defender, where's the proof? I've yet to see proof that the child's mine. He said that they obtained my DNA through a sample that was already on file. That's what she's claimed
For a
this whole
daughter
time.
you didn't raise too.
So, that's right. I'm not here to win any Father of the Year awards, believe me.
You wouldn't get it.
So, but I'm here to say that, in today's society, I think it's cruel and unusual punishment to be sentenced to 5 years in prison with rapists and murderers and child molesters for missing a court date. Because that's basically what happened. I missed a court date.
You missed being a father.
I didn't know he was mine. A lot
And
of people in prison.
listen. The pain that you've endured and what you've gone through is in part because...
My stubbornness.
Thank you.
Yeah, my stubbornness.
And you are a living example of
Right.
that.
I wanted.
So wait,
But I
now
paid-
are
I
you
paid the ultimate
convinced he
price
is the
for that
father?
possibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because I have had a DNA test done, and I have the results right here. Would you like a
Wasn't I
copy of
supposed?
it?
Well, she's worked for lab pretty much for the last 20 years. Those I'd
Hold on.
question the validity of the results. I mean, she'd get those anyway.
Hold on one second. Jerome, please hand me Miss Sears' evidence.
And it also shows the lab didn't, that the seal was
Your
not tampered with, therefore I could not have tampered with the sample.
I never submitted a test. I got a hold of court clerks. They sent me I have a docket sheet here that pretty much details everything that's ever taken place in my file. There's nothing in there that shows any lab results.
Jerome,
That was her boyfriend.
please hand me Mr. Manser's evidence as well.
He has evidence of what?
I have evidence that there was never a DNA test. There's no DNA
There
testing in there.
was.
Before we continue to argue this, let me look at Ms. Sears' evidence that she included, because I want to understand the situation surrounding this previously collected sample.
Who's to say it was my sample? Maybe they got it mixed up with John Smith down the street, you know? I mean,
Ms. Sears, your evidence clearly states that there was a laboratory test performed.
Yes, ma'am.
I see here.
I don't think it happened. I think she worked in the lab and that she's had this thing manufactured. So,
This is
That's
what
upset.
movies are made of. Now, Ms.
Yeah.
Ms. Sears,
I am good at my job, but
Miss
I'm not
Sears?
that good.
Well,
did you
who's to
work at
say?
a lab?
I
They
did.
never- I mean,
Actually,
she's-
at that time, I worked at a plasma center. I harvested plasma with 16-gauge needles. Had nothing to do with DNA.
I'm sure that, you know, when you're in a business, you know other people
Now,
that's
what's
in the business.
interesting to me is that as I go through this evidence
I was
and
at school
I
at the
get
time, by the
to
way.
the information that is also included in the collection of the samples, I do see that for alleged father, it's entirely blank.
That's right.
Meaning
Imagine that.
there is no social security number.
That's right.
There is no address.
She forgot to
There
put
is
that
no
part in there.
information about you. It's all blank. There's no picture of you. There's no photograph.
She didn't have that information. That's right. Exactly.
So, obviously, your contention that you didn't show up, you weren't there for this particular test is
You're
true.
right.
Because there's no evidence that you were there on that
That's exactly
day.
right. Thank
We've
you, Your
established
Honor.
that.
Thank you.
We do, however, see a lab record of a collection taken on May the 1st, 1995, which they claim was you.
The date of May when they put on there underneath the ascension number, that is when they pulled the sample
See-
out of the freezer.
Ms. Sear, I see the laboratory results of the testing with a probability of paternity of 99.67%. Sear, you are very emotional right now. What are you feeling in this moment?
I feel like I have never, ever deserved disrespect. I was not the woman that showed up at your doorstep every 2 months. You're gonna be my baby's daddy. I have never disrespected you. I
You
let
didn't
you
have to,
be and
prosecutor
live your
did.
life and live your selfish life you have lived for the last 20 years.
I think it's time for the results.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Jerome, do you have the envelope?
I do.
Thank you. Because of the sensitivity of this issue, ran 2 tests. The results are as follows. In the case of Manser versus Sear, as it pertains to 20-year-old Dylan Sear, Mr. Manser, you are not
Oh, God.
his
Not?
father.
Oh, man. 5 years in prison. Dylan, I'm sorry, bro. This is why. This is why I did what I did.
But this
and
is
acted-
nothing I made up. The lab did
You
it.
made it all up. You
No,
made
I
those-
did not.
Well, those results
I
apparently
don't know
are made
any
up.
of those people on that form.
Oh, my God.
This is clearly the most shocking
Very much.
news we've ever gotten in this courtroom.
Oh, my God. She should be convicted of some crime.
No, I should not. I didn't.
That
Mr.
is
Manser,
fraud.
Mr. Manser,
That is fraud.
I know you're upset. I know it's overwhelming. I need a moment with Dylan because I want to make sure he understands. Do you want to find out who your father is?
Of course.
Miss Sear, do you know?
Yes, ma'am.
You know who his father is.
Yes, I talk to him still.
Listen,
Get away from my son.
This woman is a true manipulator, evil to her core, with no remorse for what she has done to this man and the pain and anguish she has put him through, or the pain and anguish that she has caused her own child. She went through all the phases of grief in about 5 minutes, trying to manipulate him, her son, the judge, and everybody else watching. And her vitriol at the end of "get away from my son" is some of the most shameful nonsense I've seen on television. This judge is known for not holding women accountable and feeling sorry for them and trying to understand and trying to shame the man, like the people in the crowd clapping about her getting on to him when she knew this entire time that that kid was not his. Drug this man's name and reputation through the mud. Put him through hell. This man spent jail time for a child that is not his, that she knew wasn't his. Not only should she be held and prosecuted for paternity fraud, this woman tampered with evidence. Straight up tampered with evidence. Faked paternity test. Manipulated supposed DNA test. And all this in the pursuit of what? To get back at a man that she was mad at because he didn't want shit to do with her? Really? Just pure evil. How could she sit there with those fake tears and the laughter and try to pretend like, as she said in the end, that she did nothing wrong? That was not an act when she said that. She really believed, after all the pain and anguish and evil deeds that she has done to this man and her son, that she did nothing wrong. Because to women like this, the only thing that matters is how they feel. They don't want to be shamed. They don't want to look bad. They will destroy the lives of everyone around them as long as they get to seem like they're the bigger person, like they have nothing bad going on in their life, like they have never done anything wrong to anybody. So it's more important to not slut shame a woman, because it will make her feel and look bad amongst her peers. That's more important than putting your child's mind at ease. Not putting your child in a position that they never asked to be in. This kid, her son is emotionally ruined for years to come because of this. He was emotionally ruined before, and he is definitely emotionally ruined after. This innocent man spent time in prison. But oh no, can't slut shame her though. Can't make her look bad, can't make her feel bad. But what about everybody else that her selfish actions hurt? What about the pain and suffering of everybody around her because of her selfish actions? And to still be in communication with the guy who she knew the whole time is the real father, but not holding him accountable. But putting all this burden on somebody else. These types of women don't care about anybody but themselves. They don't care about men. They don't care about children. They don't care about anybody but themselves. They're willing to sit back and watch the world burn and let people suffer so they don't have to accept the fact that they are horrible, slutty people. Paternity test, in my eyes, should be mandatory at birth. Whether you are married, single, in a throuple, friends with benefits situation, I don't care what it is. And to pass that paternity off on somebody who you hate or who you just want to be the father of your child, if it is proven to not be true, your ass should be thrown in jail. Period. You have women back on the Maury show, been on there 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Wasting men's time, wasting everybody else's time. Quit being so slutty. It's that simple. And I don't want to hear the nonsense that yes, men are slutty or whatever. But guess what? At the end of the day, they don't have to explain to a child, I don't know who your other parent is. And frankly, I don't care. Because that's the kind of energy these type of women give off. Their consequences have real world actions that they refuse to accept because they don't want to be held accountable. Sad but true. If you feel that paternity test should be done at birth and paternity fraud should be a crime, let me know. If somehow, even after seeing things like this, you still disagree, let me know. Let's talk about it. I will mock you and talk bad about you, being honest, but I still like to have the conversation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I love to hear what you think. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting, and checking out another episode of Not So Popular Opinion. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.